I'm Cruella.
I finally got around to watching Cruella this weekend, and boy was it a disappointment. Within the first 10 minutes of the film, I found myself going, is this even the same character as the cartoon? The first thing that went wrong for me in this film was that Cruella was born with two-tone hair, and I was like, why? Now, if you're going with the original rich, eccentric heiress, I felt like a two-tone hair would have been done in her early adult years as part of her eccentric character. Even if you're going with the Glenn Close origin where she's a fashion icon, she would have done the two-tone hair as a fashion statement to stand out from others in the fashion industry. Another out-of-character moment for me was when she got a dog as a pet, and if you've seen the cartoon, you know that no animal in their right mind would have anything to do with her. Even the Glenn Close character from the live-action film, which was closely modeled after the cartoon, would have nothing to do with animals unless she was wearing them. In the film, we spend a lot of time getting to know Cruella's character and building an emotional attachment to her so that when horrible things happen to her in the film, we actually feel bad for her. Now, I don't know if you guys seen the cartoon or not, but in the cartoon, Cruella is 100% bitch with no redeeming qualities whatsoever. When bad things happen to her, you don't feel sorry for her at all. Later on in the film, after this big event happens, Cruella snaps and the true Cruella comes out and she becomes this mean and vicious person. And it feels like it comes out of nowhere because we spent the majority of the film trying to like her, and now we have to hate her. Jasper and Horace are no longer mindless criminals that do anything for Cruella for money. Now they are criminals with a heart who love animals and are also Cruella's childhood friends. Characters that once had the henchman-boss relationship are now in a movie where they are connected emotionally and feel like family. Anita and Cruella are no longer classmates. Anita works at a local newspaper as a photographer/journalist, while Roger works for Cruella's arch nemesis as a lawyer with no spine and is verbally and mentally abused constantly. As a purist and big fan of this cartoon, with all these character inconsistencies, there's no wonder I don't like this film. Now, don't get me wrong, there are things that I liked about the film. I loved a lot of the heist elements. I loved the dialogue and the chemistry between Emma Stone and Emma Thompson, and I really liked a lot of the comedic moments with Horace's character. But those small triumphs cannot hold up this 2-hour film. And I know what you guys are thinking. Oh, well, you're being too hard on this film, you're not taking it for face value, they're setting up a cinematic universe like they do their Marvel movies, and you need to separate the two. I get it, I totally get it. But my thing is, why can't Disney have a title villain character movie and actually have the villain be villainous? Look, Captain Hook is a villain. Maleficent is a villain, if not one of those creatures from the depths below. Cruella is a villain. The one thing that the Disney community loves about these villains is that they're charismatic, they're fun, and they're bad, and we love to see their interactions with our heroes. Disney, your writers have the ability to give us an intelligent, charismatic villain that can captivate our attention over a 2-hour time span. But you don't. You keep giving us a movie where the villain is good half the movie, and then the last half of the movie they get to be their full unleashed selves. I really wondered what a true Disney villain movie would be like. So what would I do differently? First of all, Cruella would be born with normal hair. She would go to a rich kid boarding school where she would draw in her books instead of paying attention, be verbally abusive to people, whole 9 yards until she gets expelled. Then she would be homeschooled for the rest of her school career until she reaches college. There she can go to a fashion design school where she can meet Anita and they can become classmates like they do in the cartoon. Cruella gets to get a job in the fashion industry and stomps on people all the way up to the top until she becomes this big fashion designer tycoon like she is in the live action movies with Glenn Close's character. From there, you can give Cruella an arch nemesis who she has to go against and fashion duel against through the whole movie, where Cruella doesn't play fair at all and ends up getting the one up in the end. Option 2 would be after Cruella graduates college, she does private collections for rich eccentrics like herself who gets her paid, but the love of her life are her furs, which she illegally obtains from her underlings Jasper and Horace whenever she gets a chance. With this type of storylines, you can make the heroes of this story the cops and detectives that are trying to stop her from hurting these animals, and Cruella as the villain who is constantly escaping and evading them at every turn. That being said, those are just two crazy ideas off the top of my head. It doesn't really matter because the movie is already here, it's already been made, and you either love it or you hate it. That being said, Cruella is entertaining, it's a little bit fun, and an okay-ish film. That's why I give Cruella a 6 out of 10.